Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone Podcast, where we discuss all things crypto market. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss the crypto pullback as global tensions rise, a massive 400x in the virtual ecosystem this morning, and a massive acquisition coming in the crypto world from Stripe. Apologies in advance if you're watching on YouTube. We're having some issues. I believe it's a StreamYard issue where people keep blacking in and out on the camera. Let us know in the comments if you're seeing that, or if that's just on our end. And if so, apologies for the experience if it detracts from the the crystal clean pristineness of our general stream here. I'm joined this morning by Clemente. I'm joined here by Easy. Sea-Dog, how you feeling today? How you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling locked in, man. Not playing around right now. You know, we had a little bit of a beef last night. People were talking smack about the dogs. People were talking smack about the Bodoggos. And I think the disrespect has gone on a little bit too long. We've been a little too quiet, and it's time to back that shit up. It's time to back that shit up. So, yeah, we're not playing around anymore. If you own a Bodoggo, rep it. If you don't have a Bodoggo, buy one. Set it as your PFP. We're locking in, folks. We're locking in, folks. People have been talking smack for way too long, saying, "Oh, Bodoggos have trash takes. I'm muting the dogs." If we have that much real estate in your head that you're muting us, man, yo, Coffee Coin, you a bitch. So, anyways, yeah. For people that don't know, there was a guy named Coffee Coin with a Bored Ape PFP that said, I've never seen a Bodoggo PFP with a take that isn't absolute garbage. Something to be studied in this. And of course, and then said that he muted Nick a few months ago. Abstract badge, by the way. And of course, this tweet absolutely dominated for this person that hadn't gotten engagement basically in the last 3 weeks. So, I'm actually a fan of the Bored Apes. I didn't want to have to do this to them, but I did a little market cap calculator, and we'd have to do 180x in order to flip the Bored Apes. That's the new goal. So I'm pissed off. But my morning's going good. I did my booty's trembling. I did some Pilates this morning, and I'm feeling good. I'm ready to dominate the day.
You say your booty's trembling? Sorry.
Yeah, dude, it was shaking this morning. I'm like doing Pilates is tough, dude. I don't know how people are doing. Like, I was very impressed with a lot of the people in there. I'm gonna maybe start doing it 1 to 2 times a week.
That's interesting. I've never done Pilates, but I've heard it's tough. Easy. What have you been looking at in the market today?
The StreamYard thing is gonna make me crash out, Ray.
Yeah, it's very distracting. I don't know if you can see it on YouTube or not, but essentially what's happening is like it's picking somebody at random, it's turning off their camera, and then like they get like cut off with audio too. It's like really bad on our end. It makes it super distracting.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's pissing me off to a whole new degree.
Oh, they said it looks fine for them.
Yeah, so we just have to go through it. We have to be pros. We just have to power through. Ignore.
Can they hear us? Like when we stop, like then the screen goes. Blah, blah, blah. Can they still hear us? Like that's the thing. Like even then, just Ray and now Clemente. It's like Ray, then Clemente, then Ray.
I don't see it for me. My camera looks as clean as ever, so I'm doing okay.
I think it's just a platform is cycling through like a refresh on it.
No, they said it looks fine. The audience is Gelatinous Dad is saying it looks good. Audio and visual looks good from Amateur Hero. Look, we're good to go, folks.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah, you're probably gonna hear some cutting in and out on Twitter because my audio is what is being piped there, and people are cutting out on my audio. So apologies again. We do have a lot to talk about today. Why don't we take it away with the weather report whenever you're ready, Clemente?
Ray, I thought you would never ask. Man, what a time to be alive, folks. What a time to be alive. We got a lot to cover. Huh? Ray?
We do.
Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Thursday, June 12th. The majors are down across the board. We got Bitcoin under 107,000. Ethereum over $2,700. And Solana at 158. Bodoggos, however, are up on the day, up 15% to 1.73 Solana. We're going to start adding that one to the weather report. Over the past 24 hours, Stripe acquired wallet abstraction infrastructure company Privy. This has been called one of the biggest acquisitions we have seen in recent years. With this acquisition, Stripe is looking to blur the difference between crypto and fiat to help onboard the masses. I don't know if I could think of a better company to acquire Privy. Privy dominating, Stripe dominating. Looks like this might be the best onboarding of the masses that we've seen so far. Bullish. Next up, the U.S. Senate voted to move forward with the Genius stablecoin bill. This has been what crypto czar David Sachs has been talking about for quite some time. The next step would be a majority vote in the Senate before sending it back to the House for further consideration. A couple more steps in this. Still in the works, but you'd love to see progress. Finally, the U.S. PPI came in below estimates. Trump called for a 1% rate cut after yesterday's cool CPI, and now traders are pricing in at least 2 rate cuts for 2025. We all know what that means. That means higher, folks. That means higher. Choppy markets, but overall, things still look positive. Back to you in the studio, Ray.
Excellent weather report as always. I've been showing on screen what matters the most. Just the Bodalgos here over on Tensor. Absolutely cooking up to 1.7. Very thin up to 2 Solana, getting back over the 2 Solana level here. Seems like we fired up some of the crowd here with Coffee's comments. Kind of exactly what we needed on the timeline.
I'm fired. Yeah, I'm excited. I've been like, I try to be a little bit more quiet on the Bodago side, but let's go. Like, let's get ready to rock. We have way too many people that we have the mind share. We have a lot of different things. We just gotta. The stars are aligning here. I feel special. Feeling special. So, yeah, I'm excited, Ray. But yeah, why did the market nuke overnight? What's going on here?
We saw some global tension with the Iranian nuclear program. Apparently, they're out of like spec essentially for like what they should be doing, and there's tension between Israel and Iran. So now a little bit of nuclear war threat hanging its head on markets. We did see a cool PPI print this morning. Came in below estimates. This comes after the CPI was cool as well. Pre-market, we saw it sold off pretty hard on equities earlier after PPI released. It's not quite as bad. We were down 0.5% across the market earlier. Now it's like 0.2, 0.3. So a little bit of good news with the PPI, and like we said with the rate cuts, we're now pricing in 2 or more rate cuts to be the favorite. Initially, it was sitting at like 1 rate cut would be like at least 1 rate cut look the most likely. Now we're sitting at least 2 rate cuts on Polymarket at a 60% chance of that happening. So you're looking at 40% of 0 or 1, and then above that, obviously 60%. 0 was as high as 26% and was in the lead. Earlier in the week here, like 0 was all the way up to 31% chance just 1 week ago. So we've seen some movement there on the macro side that looks positive in terms of interest rates dropping, move to risk on assets. We'll continue to monitor. I mean, generally the war threats are more like passing. I mean, obviously we hope there's no nuclear war. So maybe like we do see a little bit of a dip and then maybe like a V-shaped recovery as tensions kind of died down. But we didn't really sell off too hard over the last 24 hours. What are your takes on the market right now, Easy?
I don't know. The Iran nuke stuff has been ongoing for like the last 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. So it's not terribly surprising, I guess you could say, as crazy as that sounds. But for me, it's just like dips are for buying in this market. So if you get them, take advantage of them. And at the current moment, it's one of those things where we've been up only. Like we were starting to approach the like over greed, too greedy, extreme greed. So I think we do need to kind of move a little bit.
Yep. That's 100% fair. I don't know if I can add too much more to macro that we haven't talked about already. The one thing I do want to talk about is this Iris launch on Virtuals. Have you been following this morning?
Yeah, it did a 500x.
Did
So
you
got one? Oh, sorry. Yeah, you cut out there for me. I lost your audio. I apologize. Did a 500x. So if you get one virtual in, you made 500. Not bad. Like pretty good run. First ETH one. So you still have to pay an exorbitant amount of gas, which is fun.
How many did you get in easy?
I didn't participate.
Yeah, I skipped it as well because I'm looking at the next drop that's coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
This was
Babysitter?
Babysitter. So this was super oversubscribed, and
Was
looking
this
at
the most oversubscribed, Ray?
What'd you say?
Was this the most oversubscribed ever?
I don't know where it finished, but it was like at the top.
2380.
So I don't know if it finished above. I think it was below a couple others. There was Axelrod and I think the Solace one. I think they both were slightly above that in the 2400 range. I think Babysitter might cool off a little bit if people like really like blue points here, like in such like a recent drop. So like my hope is I'm going to make my dollars per point work harder for Babysitter. It probably won't pump as much, but I'm hoping that I get a better allocation into it. Is essentially my thought process. And that was like my thesis going into not subscribing to this. I basically have 77,000 points. And with that full 77,000, I'd be getting about 3 virtual. So I could have cashed in for roughly I think 3K ish. If I just blew my points, sold everything.
How many points you have, Ray? 77,000?
Yeah.
I'm at 98,000.
Let's go. You're getting those yapper points.
Average about 10K a day, baby.
Yeah, I'm not getting as many yapper points. I haven't been optimizing for yaps on the timeline lately. So not getting as many there. Oh, I actually can claim some of these. Look at this.
So you need to talk about virtuals to get points?
No. So like that's the thing. I was getting yaps from other means, and I'm staking Kaido, and it's like a multiplier on any yap, really.
Well, I have freaking 2,000 points, so that freaking sucks, man. Screw virtuals. Okay, yeah, I mean, awesome. Yeah, we can move on for sure.
Well, I just claimed the future of AI here with Iris, and it's not even showing up for me to sell and dump immediately. I got 4K of these for just staking the virtual. So, are you staking virtual easy?
Yeah, I have to check how much I have staked.
Yeah, if you go to the virtuals page, you should see an airdrop. 141 virtual worth. So $293 coming off the top of the right off the top of the virtual cost. So I'm just selling right now. Immediately selling, dumping into this, $300 off my cost basis for staking. Like we talked about, staking virtuals over 2 years will earn you these airdrops as well. But we can move on. Well, maybe at least show the launch tomorrow that we're looking at, and then we can move on. Babysitter top 10 in the virtuals hackathon. This one has been getting some buzz for a while. It was kind of like the hype drop this week until the Iris drop came out of nowhere. So this is the one I'll be going into overnight. You're seeing a lot of talk of this on the timeline, expecting a similar, like, I mean, not a 500x, but maybe like 50x, 100x would be my thought process on initial launch. But we'll see. We'll see how it works. Essentially, this is basically AI that protects agents from scams, hacks, and mistakes. So it analyzes like people trying to like take advantage of AI agents on the blockchain. Look at Clemente. He is just like, he's like, dude, what is this? What are we doing here?
What are we talking? Like, why does this need a token? What are we talking about, guys? What the hell? How is this at $100 million?
This doesn't exist yet, but hopefully $100 million tomorrow.
It doesn't even exist?
Not the babysitter.
Oh, what's Iris?
I don't even know what Iris is.
What does Iris do?
No clue.
And everyone's just talking about it to farm points for the next one. Like it's genius by Virtuals, I will say, doing the yaps for points and all of that bullshit. It's genius for marketing, but like everyone's just talking about it. Yo, guys, yo, this is such a cook. Yo, holy shit, guys. Yo, this was just a 500x, even though you could only put in 5 cents. They don't include that. But holy shit, yo, another massive cook by the Virtuals team. Man, these guys don't miss, dog. Yo, these guys don't miss. Holy shit. And you're sitting there like, oh, what? Should I buy this? No, don't fucking buy. No one knows what it does. They don't talk about anything about what any of these things actually do. Instead, you're just sitting there buying random crap. So, okay, cool. Awesome.
Coming from the meme coin super cycle hasn't arrived, Maxi. I just showed you.
This is not the meme coin super cycle.
I cashed out $300 immediately for staking virtuals, which is a play we talked about on the show.
This is not a meme coin super cycle. This is crypto Twitter bullshit. This is the opposite of a meme coin super cycle. Retail will never touch us with a 10-foot pole.
God, I think retail's going to love Ponzi's. This is just a Ponzi. All this is an ohm fork. It's a Ponzi. It's all it is. That's how you have to look at it. You have to stop looking at it like it's tech. It's a meme coin Ponzi.
If you call it a Ponzi, though, the whole ecosystem yells at you. Every single one of them. I just keep calling it a Ponzi, and they all just get pissed off at me.
We have it.
I mean, that's how I'm framing it. It's a Ponzi that I started talking about a month ago that I said still had legs and obviously still has legs. Like we identified it as such. It's still working as such. There was a play to be made. If you've been following along, and we have had a number of Bodogos following along and sharing their wins in the Discord, you're up. If you staked 500 virtuals 3 weeks ago, you just got another $300 right into your pocket. So that's a third of your cost basis, which is not gonna lie, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Antoine Alguin with the philosophical comment in the YouTube chat here. What isn't a Ponzi? Yeah.
You know that what's that meme with the sad guy on the railroad, like in the train? One guy's like sad. It's like everything is a Ponzi, and that one guy's sad, and then the other guy's happy, like everything is a Ponzi. That's it. I mean, it's all Ponzi. And it's just whether or not you can play the game and get out before other people. There you have it. That's crypto, folks.
Clemente is on a crash out this week. Yesterday on the show, today on the show, last night on Twitter. I'd love to see that. Let's move on a little bit. We had this acquisition news of Privy by Stripe. Like this is I feel like this is pretty big. Privy is basically integrated with almost every like new dApp you see in Web3, allowing you to abstract the wallet experience. It creates your custody wallet with just an email. Being acquired by Stripe just makes me feel like super bullish on crypto. Do you have any initial thoughts here, Clemente, on what this means or like how you're framing this?
Can you explain this a little bit more, like specifically, like in a hypothetical scenario, why Stripe wants to acquire this company? Like how would they use it? It sounds like from what they said, from what Privy said, that they're going to keep basically operating as a separate entity. Like nothing's going to change. They're just going to have more resources. I'm just curious because I'm not super familiar with Stripe, and maybe we explain a little bit more about what Stripe does as far as like payment processing goes and that front as well.
Yeah, I mean, Stripe is basically like credit card and like payment processing. A lot of like small vendors, you're doing stuff on like Shopify, like Stripe does a lot of payment processing on that end. I mean, for me, it makes sense because instead of building out their own, like if they say, okay, hey, like look at all these, look at Coinbase or not, look at Circle, they're IPOing, stablecoin bills are passing. Stablecoins are kind of like the future of money transfer. So they need to be at the forefront of that as somebody who is at the forefront of like basically money transfer. So two choices, you build your own crypto infrastructure out, or you acquire someone like Privy who has already built out the rails and already has product market fit. So I don't know if they care too much about like what Privy's done in terms of like integrating with all these other Web3 apps. I think they care about the rails that have already been created there, and how they can kind of integrate that with their payment platform.
I wonder how much they acquired it for.
Yeah, I haven't seen any numbers yet. If anyone knows, feel free to leave a comment. I'd be curious as well there. Easy, do you have any thoughts on this Privy acquisition?
I think it's massive. It just opens up the opportunity for crypto across the board now. Like, to me, it's like this gives Privy and Stripe handles like basically all payments for Shopify and other things. It now gives an opportunity for Privy to basically create custodial wallets for everybody. Like everyone using that. Now, on-ramps, infrastructure, all that stuff has never been easier. So I think this is like the biggest acquisition in crypto history.
Alfalfa in the comments. When Privy airdrop? I would love a Privy airdrop. Every single Privy wallet gets a little bit there. I couldn't tell you how many of these I have for every single dApp that exists that Clemente says doesn't need a token. that we're signing up for that all have tokens.
I'm going to share a quick tweet. I'm going to read it out that I thought was interesting. The tweet basically says, first Stripe acquired Bridge, then Stripe acquired Privy. Both supposedly sold for 10 figures at a low ARR. Guess who invested in both? Sequoia and Paradigm. Guess who invested in Stripe and have had board seats? Sequoia and Matt Huang from Paradigm. So it's basically talking about how like both like these VCs are doing, this was a masterclass in like acquisitions for companies that they're invested in and like brokering those deals. I thought this was an interesting tweet.
I like that. Was that low 10 figs? It said was the acquisition price there.
That's what he's claiming. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, that's like the VC flywheel Ponzi essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all a Ponzi. It's all a Ponzi,
all
folks.
a Ponzi. Invest in a company, sell it to a company you've already invested in. Hopefully that company goes up because there's synergy, and rinse and repeat. Equities are opening now. I was looking at Circle. Circle's at 115, holding pretty steady on the equities side. Take a look over there real quick.
Oh yeah, I know. We're dumping. We're dumping.
Yeah, I'm like curious to see what's going to happen at open today. With the uncertainty we saw overnight. We didn't gap down too hard on the S&P here. Trading flat so far. One of the majors I do want to talk about though is ETH. ETH has had kind of like this crazy run over the last, was this 3 weeks? Basically started this run with some giga candles in early May. We're looking at the daily now on ETH. It's up at 2740, basically outperforming all of the top 10 crypto assets by market cap in terms of like weekly gains, on the back of an absurd ETH ETF streak. We talked yesterday about $125 million of inflows being a good amount. We recorded 240 yesterday, almost double that, most in 4 months. This is like an 18-day streak now. And it's not just like ETFs are getting inflows across the board. Like Bitcoin's been like up and down. It's almost like net negative over the last month, or like very close to like break even for Bitcoin ETFs. When you look over the last month for ETH, you've almost brought in $1 billion worth of inflows. So we're seeing this like traditional finance like bid into ETH right now, which is like super interesting. Is definitely catching my eye. Like is ETH, like ETH is already ran, but are we primed to make a bigger move? Easy. I would love for you to take a look at the ETH chart and like potentially let me know like what you could see here if this continues to hold up through this.
You need to break above this area. Like if you look at that area right there, right, dating back to September, October, November, you're basically at this resistance. So like a break over this should push us back up towards like that 3,500 area, which is like where I want to be. But yeah, like that's spot on. Like a back test here isn't the worst, but you're going to need Bitcoin to push all-time high in order to get up towards 3,500. And if we break 35, you got 4K. So like, yeah, that's kind of the range we're in, which historically you can see has been a pump, breakthrough, or a dump breakdown. So like pretty big and volatile area that right now we kind of need momentum to drive it higher. If you have the macro economies showing signs of weakness, this will break back down. But overall, I like the area we're in. We've made higher highs after ranging for a little bit of time. And now I'm like, this is not a bad situation to be in. I think we actually have some decent upward momentum. Bitcoin goes to 120. ETH will probably trade at 3,500, which is kind of what you want to see.
ETH looks good. They look good. Do you guys follow DGen Ping on Twitter?
The GOAT.
So for a little bit of context, I highly recommend following at DGen Ping. Basically what people say in crypto Twitter is that there's these traders, these TA guys that go on like generational runs. They're like basically channeling a greater like being for a like small period of time. And you have to find these, like they become the main character for a short period of time until they lose the sauce. Degen Ping appears to be the next one. May 22nd, he basically called exactly what has been happening so far. He said animal spirits for a few, and this was May 22nd. Conference dump into June, which happened. Early June fake out, which happened. Joyful June, which is happening. He's basically saying that we're going to have some runs between now and then the end of June, and then July might be the retreat.
So wait, hold on. What's going on after Joyful June? Can you read that off, Clemente, and explain what it means?
Jetavana July.
What about kimchi premium pumps?
I don't know. He's throwing in a lot of mumbo jumbo in there, but like he's also
New York is not a joyful place or peaceful place, like whatever he says. Basically, just dunks on New York real quick.
He also like tweets out some really he tweets out like quotes and all this stuff, and then follows it up with predictions that he's been nailing. Like he said, May 26th, he said 3K ETH by June 14th. And it looked like he was going to be right up until the dump last night. So
he's got 2 more days.
I recommend following Degen Ping. He's been a fun follow so far.
It's what's his at?
At Degen Ping.
Awesome. Yes, we take a little look at majors, take a little look at alts. I wanted to talk again about looking at like Fartcoin and SPX. SPX holding well when we're seeing kind of red across the board on meme coins with this pullback right now. Murad's list, we've talked about this, is essentially down on the day, but SPX still continuing to hold even, slightly up. I think that's what we're going to see. Like most of I feel like we saw the big lock-in run that is now basically leveled out, and a lot of the other kind of like beta plays ran, but then they all pulled back like almost the entire run they had, 6% to 23% on a lot of these beta plays. So like even though we had that kind of like euphoric like day for the betas yesterday, like you'll see most days they'll probably be underperforming the main asset, whereas SPX holds up. So like kind of both sides of the coin you have to be prepared for there. I keep getting more bullish and bullish on SPX every day, to be honest. And I mean, you can make fun of me and my trading style, buying into strength. I bought some for the first time yesterday. Bought SPX for the first time yesterday at new all-time highs.
Dude, you're special. You're actually special.
Yep. I was going to buy it in this level down here, right around $1 bill, and I just never got around to it. I wanted to do some DYDX perps on it after Easy was talking about it on the show. I was like, I'm gonna get off the show and put in some perps, and I just never got around to it. So now I'm just not missing this entire run because I think this thing keeps going. I think this says see you later. Fartcoin is going to leave Fartcoin in the dust, in my opinion. And then we talked about like will Fartcoin reflip earlier in the week. They were getting close, but now SPX is kind of pulling away. 1.5 million versus 1.3 million. No, it's not top blasting. It's buying into strength. It's exactly what it is. They're completely different. Completely different. Oh man, what would you rather own right now, Fartcoin or SPX?
SPX, easily.
I want to hear from the commenters too. SPX or Fartcoin? Clemente, SPX or Fartcoin?
It's SPX.
Dude, I have a lot of Fartcoin. I don't own any SPX. I bought SPX like 2 months ago and I sold all of it for a loss at like 600 mil because I was like just selling everything. I have my biggest and basically only bag outside of MOG is Fartcoin. And I don't know what to do with it. Like, do I take short-term capital gains and buy like SPX? I don't know. I think SPX is has more retail reach by far than Fartcoin.
Why can't you buy any, Ellie? Ellie says she can't buy SPX.
I think Ellie's a he. But Ellie probably just doesn't want to top blast like you.
English top blasted REKT this morning. REKT is another one that's been interesting to watch. Like this, I don't think gets talked about enough. I mean, you see the guys on FOMO are talking about it, being involved with the project, but I don't really see too many other people talking about REKT and REKT strength. 157 mil. I believe this is a new all-time high for REKT, and they've just been crushing it with drinks. They're basically airdropping tokens to people who buy their drinks. Charts still going up consistently. 157 mil FTV right now. Love to see what's going on over there from the REKT team. Do you have any interest in REKT here, buying into strength?
No. No, but it's not because like I don't like I actually think it's really fascinating watching OSF do this. He's doing a great job leaning into and basically just going all in on REKT. I have trouble understanding like what the model it has an interesting blend of like a meme coin, but also like this internet capital markets piece. They are making money. They are using portions of that money to buy back the REK token. They're a slim team. Like they don't have a lot of people on staff. The drinks world is a difficult one to break into. What's interesting is they're using different, like they're tapping into the airdrop farmer market, right? Which is fascinating. I don't know how long they're going to keep, like they can do this, but it's working so far. They sold out on Abstract, crushed it. They sold out their first drop, crushed it. And they just sold out the OpenSea ones because people are willing to spend crypto. People are willing to buy a bunch of these in exchange for a potential, like it's basically being subsidized.
Yeah, it's like marketing essentially. So it's getting like I think there is something interesting to it. Like I think people enjoy the drinks. Like you like the drinks, like
It's good.
right? Easy, like you like them,
They're wicked good. I've drank so many of them. I have the OpenSea one too. I want to try it.
right? But if you weren't in crypto, you wouldn't really know about these.
No, I would have no idea.
Yeah. So like I think they're creating like FOMO and like kind of like a diehard like fan base that is like native to where it came from. And I think like that kind of diehard fan base is like very important to spread outwards. And so like they're selling these drinks and they can be like, yo, these like you can like create a social media campaign, be like, this is the drink that sold out 3 times in 10 minutes. Like here's the next drop and how you can get into like what's changing the beverage game. Like you can do like all these cool things with it because you've had this kind of flywheel that's been subsidized by crypto initially. So I think it's really interesting. It's one that I've been looking at, and another one that's on my list to maybe top, not top blast, but buy into strength here.
I mean, it's up, it's crushing. It's up like 4x, 5x in the last month, which is
10x
ridiculous
since April
price
21st.
action. No Future Photography is bringing up a great point, which is basically saying it's kind of like it brings back when Gary Vee sold, like when people were buying 50 of his books for the airdrop. Obviously, there's for an NFT, which you could get and it was profitable. Like people are buying, the demand here is subsidized demand. I don't like it's people, it's like 100 people, 500 people buying like 10 cases of it, which is insane. Right. So I don't know how it, but at the same time, left curving it is also thinking like, okay, there's not going to be a shortage of pre-TGE chains that they want to partner with because it's also a win-win for the pre-TGE chain because you get a bunch of new people on your chain. Monad, if they do it, right? They're going to do a Monad drop. Monad gets people to their chain. Mega ETH. There's going to be more of these like airdrop scenarios that do this. So I think he can keep doing it, honestly. And it's like, what, 157 million? I think that's better than, I'd way rather buy this than Launchcoin, if I'm being honest. I'd rather buy this than like a lot of bullshit that's at 150 mil. So I don't hate it at all. I just am not necessarily a buyer now.
Shiggins with you. Forcing people to buy IRL products in order to get Vapor tokens is brilliant. Yeah, I think this is interesting. I think we'll look back on this and it could also be a pretty good buy into strength. So I'm going to think about it. I am going to think about it. English saying it's also a bet on OSF, like betting on Luca in 2022. It's an actual product, so not horrible. Whoa, what the fuck? Launchcoin catching strays. Launchcoin has looked pretty strong recently. I think Nikita Beer has been giving it a bit of love. Or actually, it wasn't Nikita Beer. It was who's the Reddit guy? Alexis Ohanian was like, should I drop a token on Believe for Dig? Was it? So like, I think there's some speculation there. I think that's why Launchcoin just kind of came back to the levels that it's at now. I'm going to take a look at Launchcoin actually.
Launchcoin is interesting. The quality of business you need to have in order for your Launchcoin price to go up is really low. The bar is extremely low. I've seen a lot of products where I actually like saw them before launching and I was like, oh, this is not ready at all. If this didn't have a coin, it wouldn't have any traction. But the fact they did a launch coin actually kind of bootstrapped their attention. And I don't know if it's actually going to end up working, but it is interesting. Like, I don't want to just hate on it. I just don't personally, I'm not interested in it. And yeah, anyways, but yeah, I mean, it's doing well, right? It's up almost 2x off the bottoms, which you like to see.
Small P Energy coming for you again.
Oh my God, man.
Another day of owning more hype than Clemente. Feels
Jackass,
good, man.
Dude. What a freaking jackass.
Is there any other interesting meme coins you've been watching for, Clemente? Easy. Have you been trading anything? Small caps, mid caps?
Just low caps. I'm using the Pump Fun app to look at movers and just chasing volume. Like, that's it. You guys, I shared like a pretty low cap one the other day that ended up just giga sending. Because I just thought it was funny. Like, I think that Pump Fun app is such a sleeper because it also gives you like the metas. It helps you see where volume is. They're doing some interesting stuff with it. I'm actually a big fan of the app. I'm like, this is really well designed, and I use it frequently now, specifically for low caps, pre-migration stuff, which is just what I like to trade.
Yeah, we definitely have seen some low caps moving, and I need to find a way to get that app. I have Android. They don't have a native app on Android right now.
No, that's crazy. That's
weirdo.
crazy.
What happened with Aura?
It's 140. I mean,
look at this chart. For those just listening, I have the Aura chart pulled up, and essentially we're looking at the weekly here. This ticker was launched in June of last year or May of last year. It peaked around 63 million during kind of meme coin season last July that didn't exist according to Clemente. Basically completely died off, trading at sub 2 million, and then giga sent to 3x all-time high in just a couple days. What happened here with Aura? Do you know anything about this, Easy?
It got CTO'd by a prominent trading group, supposedly. That's what people are saying. So it ran from like nothing up to 70 mil, and then today's another run, another 2x. Like, you could have top blasted yesterday and made it 2x. It's crazy. There's people though that have held this coin for so long that are up 7 figures. So like, I'm not a buyer here. Like, I want no part of this. This thing, at some point, they're gonna have to exit. I know a few people have taken 6 figures off the table on it and still have 7 figures in the trade. So they bought it like very early and just wrote it off. It was dust. It was nothing. It was a dead coin. And then sure enough, they got bailed out. It's insane. Yeah, someone said 4 mil USDC was spent to buy it at 300K. So they just, it's supply controlled.
Oh no, what happened here? Did this person get shooken out and then rebought? Oh, this is somebody who like CTO'd it. I see. Yeah, I'm trying to like look at some of the top holders on Deck Screener and figure out like when they entered.
it is a good ticker. I like the I like
a lot of these. I guess it got basically like people are acquiring a large quantity of this. Like the top holders have all bought it recently, which is interesting. So like if they are CTOing it, is the plan just to buy these big bags and dump them immediately, which is, I don't know. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. It seems like it's a lot of like wash trading bullshit. But we'll have to check into that and see if it continues its run or if it's just going to completely fall off the table. No interest in buying here though, right? Not going to see another 2x.
No, I don't think so.
No. All right. Well, you have a special guest live with us today. Just came into the studio. We'll do a little introduction here and bring him on. You've seen us talking about Ready on the timeline. Bravo Ready, the team behind Bravo Ready Games, BR1 Infinite, a big partnership with Bonk was just announced with their new game, Real Money Gaming. Here's the CEO. This is Evan. Evan, welcome to the show for the very first time. We are so happy to see you here. How are you feeling this morning?
I'm doing good. Excited to be here with you boys.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So for the audience, we're going to give them a little bit of background here. Evan, who are you? What brought you into crypto? What's your journey been like? And what is Bravo Ready Games?
I'll tell you. At a young age, I determined I was a diehard gamer. And I know many people at a young age, we all want to be astronauts. We all want to be gamers, race car drivers. And the reality is when I got to university, the truth set in. Video games, I like to compare them to a toxic ex-girlfriend. You like them, they're pretty, you want to go back to them, but it comes at a huge trade-off. You get nothing good out of it, right? You come to the trade-off, your work hours, your social hours, your gym hours, everything in between. And what I really wanted to do was build tangible value for the time people spend playing video games. I remember when I was in university, I played a lot of RuneScape and World of Warcraft. And, I always tried to monetize the time I spent in these games. I'd hire people to mine resources for me, inevitably ended up getting banned, lost thousands of hours of gameplay. And, I had to go concentrate on my career. I studied accounting. I bled and cried for my GPA. I got the job at the firm. And I realized very quickly, this isn't the path that I wanted to live. So I abandoned my accounting career to build esports wagering platforms. And back in 2020, we brought our first concept to market. It was called hypex.gg. It was a video game wagering platform. We sold to a public company. And with that capital, we sought out to continue to pursue our dreams around video games, where previously we built technology where you could bet on yourself playing video games. We wanted to build a video game that incorporated that real money element directly into the product. And that's what inspired everything behind Bravo Ready Games, everything behind BR1 Infinite. And we'll dive into the nitty gritty of those items, but that's how it all started. We just wanted to make tangible value for the time we spent playing video games.
Yeah, I love to see it. I'm a gamer myself, and I'm a degen myself. So it's a very good product market fit in crypto when you tie real money to actual games. So Ready is interesting. We've been working with you guys for a while, and I kind of have a general idea of how Ready works. How exactly does Ready power these games? How do you guys come into the ecosystem, and what do you provide to the real money gaming ecosystem?
Well, high level, the best way to look at it is when we started our journey, before we built BR1 Infinite, we were just Bravo Ready. And our goal was to build infrastructure for real money games. And the truth is, nobody knew what the hell that meant. They understood that I had a product that I had already sold to a public company, this esports wagering platform, but they didn't understand our real money gaming infrastructure. So we were told to build a demo. They said, take your infra and build something that proves what you do. And that's where BR1 Infinite came from. Our studio, Bravo Ready 1, BR1, our first title. And when we brought BR1 to market, it was immediately, we caught a lot of attention, and we raised about $4 million from guys like Justin Kahn, the co-founder of Twitch, Solana, Sixman, who led our round, Crafton, the owners of PUBG, Shima Capital, Magic Eden, a handful of other guys. And as we continued to build and we neared the end of our roadmap, so now we're at year 4 of development, and we've built BR1 Infinite, or almost finished BR1 Infinite, a couple of different products. And as we got closer towards the end of our development cycle, our devs had more time. And I'm not in the business of letting go of my amazing team. And so we directed their efforts in another direction. Ultimately, it was compartmentalizing the infrastructure around BR1 so that we could license it out to different people. So we took the technology behind the game, the pay to spawn, kill to earn element of the game, the deposit withdraw systems, account systems, forensic tooling, and we began to license it out to different entities. And the way the Ready token plugs into this, keeping it very simple, is we license out our real money technology to other game studios and companies so they could build real money games. And in exchange, we take a percentage of their revenue and we direct it towards buybacks of our Ready token, a very popular model that we see on the timeline today, people talking about. And this is the exact same model that we applied towards our Bonk game. As some of you may know, we recently dropped the official Bonk game, Bonk Arena. And the way that title works is it's a pay to spawn, kill to earn game with Bonk. You pay 10,000 Bonk to spawn, you earn 10,000 Bonk per kill. We take a service fee when the service fees are on, and 50% of that, again, goes towards that buyback model for the Ready token. So Ready doesn't integrate into other people's games. It integrates into the back of people's businesses. We give them monetization software, and if they're successful, we get to eat off of that success.
Yeah,
I have a quick question, Ray.
Yep, go for it.
I have to acknowledge for people listening, we got music playing. I'm gonna mute it.
Oh, sorry. I guess
Evan, is this the comments are going they're going crazy.
Yeah, I'm dying. I'm trying not to laugh.
Is this a real background we're seeing?
What? Okay, let's guess. Like to the audience, everybody put your bets in. Real background, fake background. What's it going to be? I'm happy I'm to be able to get up.
So we don't get demonetized by YouTube. It's GUNs in the background for people listening, and there's a lot of them. You are in range. Also, is in the back. People are saying real. Antoine's saying it's fake. Real, fake.
Boys, I'm no LARP. I'm one of the realest builders in this space. Camera on, face first. Since 2022, all of my guns are real. All of my guns are legal. I'm one of the few gun owners in Canada, and I could flex my license on you boys if you want. Maybe we'll run through them after. Nobody's commenting on the Pokemon cards. I have 9 packs, sealed base set boosters. I have like 6 Charizards hidden back there. I have a Jordan made out of Charizards over there. I have some crazy thing. Easy would freak if I broke out the Venusaur and the Bulbasaur collection.
Yeah, that's what we got to see.
Like, I'm not gonna do it yet. Like we have topics, but like, I've got a couple Bitcoin worth of Pokemon in here. To say the very least, I could have your head spinning with my Pokemon collection.
I love the question. I love the direction we went. You can tell that you're a DGen and a collector like all of us, and you are legit and into this space. This Bonk Arena game is pretty fun. I played a little bit yesterday. I got actually cooked. I bought some Bonk, played a little bit, got cooked. No skill at all. I'm about to sit this one out. Clemente, you had your hand raised there?
Yeah, Evan, I think we've seen a lot of crypto games the last 2 years. Even in 2025, I've seen a lot of big studios shut down, and like a lot of people say that Web3 gaming is dead or doesn't exist. Meanwhile, you guys have continued to ship consistently, and you haven't lost the drive that I remember. Like when we talked to you guys, I think it was back in November of last year, you're still going. And I think that's an interesting, like, I'm curious why you feel like you guys are continuing your pace and haven't lost any morale, it appears, and what you're doing different, because I think a lot of people would be interested in what you guys are thinking about it and how you're approaching it. While a lot of Web3 gaming is considered like dead, and you're having multi-million, if not $1 billion in funding from these studios shut down their Web3 component.
So whether it's gaming or all of Web3, morale is a core component of every company that people seem to forget. It's not enough just to have millions of dollars in the bank. If you don't have a moralized team, if you lose a key team member, your ship could sink. And that's the truth. And usually the things that destroy companies, usually it's not just the financial element. The financial element is really big, but if you have millions of dollars in the bank, it's the problems that you don't know about. It's easy to foresee financial obstacles, technical obstacles. It is not easy to foresee a team member being depressed, a team member quitting on you, a team member being demoralized. We take a team first approach here. Every single member of our team, stands shoulder to shoulder in everything that we do. I'm lucky to have the absolute best team in the world. And the truth of the matter is, when we started, we were a small development team. And basically the lore is I sold my other company and I actually got pushed out by the board. So I almost had a constructive dismissal. Sold my company to a public company, fought with the board. They pushed me out and I wasn't allowed to keep my team, but I negotiated to keep my office. And a couple of months after I arguably got pushed out, I did turn around to try and sue the company. And we came to an agreement, and that agreement enabled me to hire some of my team members. So I brought my designer, who is arguably one of my best friends. I call him my son, brought him into the company, and he's been a part of the video game journey since the beginning. My co-founders were all highly invested in the project. A lot of my co-founders, they didn't start with the company. They joined at our first NFT mint, and then they later became co-founders of the company. So everybody has a real vested interest in the project and have been a part of the project since before we delivered our technical hurdles. say another core component is money management. Your team may look at you a bit wacky if you misspend your capital. And we've been really scrappy. And anybody who knows us, it is very hard to get a dollar out of us because we always are trying to ensure that we see an ROI on that dollar. We only raised 3.5 million. Well, I guess closer to 4 million after we raised 3.5 million and we did another 2.5 million in revenue in our closed beta. And most games raise like 10 to 30 million to make their title. And it's not easy standing toe to toe with products like Off the Grid who spend $100 million to make their title when we spent closer, to 3 to 5 million. But it's exciting as hell. And I know every single member of my team wakes up, with an adrenaline in their chest, excited to be competing in such an incredible industry. We BR1 Infinite in the top Epic in Epic's top wish listed games. We're in the top 100. I'm not at the top like all these, like some of our other friends. We're like 89th position, right under Madden. And let me tell you, I grew up playing games like Madden. It's really exciting. And anyone who's a real gamer that's grown up in this space, when you see the progress we have, it's motivating as hell. And we only keep team members. There's no mercenaries on our team. Nobody's here collecting a check. I know that almost every member of my team would work for free if we ran out of money. Luckily, we're in a really strong position and we're going to continue to chug along for the next few years. But I guess in combination, Clemente, our team stays moralized because we're responsible as hell. We talk about everything transparently, and we listen to everybody's opinions and treat everybody like a family member and a team member. Otherwise, you would have a bunch of mercenaries on your team, and the second things go poorly, they're going to retreat. They're going to run, and you don't want that.
Absolutely. Ray, for people listening, Ray right now is playing, I believe, live the Bonk game. I think it looks like you paid 10,000 Bonk to get in. So you guys designed that, like, how much did you guys do here versus the Bonk team? Is Bonk basically just like the brand and they're like, hey, we want another piece of kind of our IP and we want to add something else to our community. And they basically just partnered with you to do all of what we're seeing here.
So Bonk provided us the license for the IP and they gave us the permission to use the Bonk name and the characters. And we designed everything that you see on screen. And Bonk is, there's a reason they're the tier 1 Solana coin. They have a very rigid approval process. This is a very serious organization. This isn't just some fucking meme coin or, it is a cultural phenomenon, but this is also a major corporation. And I see incredible organization from that team. It's not easy to work with a tier 1, right? You have to maintain a very high quality standard of quality for everything that you do. And, in our previous lives working with public companies, we're used to that type of like rigid yellow tape. But it's been a pleasure working with the Bonk team, and we're super excited to continue to roll out products.
How can people play? How can people play this game? It's Bonk Arena.
Yeah, if you want to play, you can hop in right now on your Phantom wallet or on browser on PC or Mac. You just go to play.bonkarena.com. And okay. I'll give you guys a bit more lore about us as a company. So, some guys may know us as BR1 Infinite, the guys who make BR1. Some guys may know us as Bravo Ready, the game studio. Some people know Ready, the token. But as an entity, we are an ecosystem. And the lore behind this game goes a bit deeper. Back in 2023, when FTX went under, we advise for a lot of games. Our goal is always to help different game founders with monetization. Sometimes our investors introduce us to some of their portcos. We help them with monetization of their products. And back in 2023, we advised for a game that sadly they went under. After the FTX collapse, they just decided they didn't have the morale and the willingness to continue. And one of the products that they were building was called Mini Arena. And these guys were hyper intelligent, and I still talk with them to this day, but they weren't motivated with their product. They were willing to shelve it. So I turned around and I bought out all of their assets. And fast forward to 2025, we used all of those assets and the technology they built on Solana to deliver Bonk Arena. That was the first acquisition we did under Bravo Ready. And we're excited to continue to be pushing along deals like that. I won't share all the information, but we have a handful of really cool deals in the pipeline to continue to expand the Ready ecosystem into other known games. And I promise you, we're going to continue to deliver here. We're going to continue to pull guys into the space, leveraging our real money tech and bringing value for the Ready token and the Ready community.
Yeah, it seems like the audience is really relating to you both as a person, and they're enjoying this game. A lot of people impressed with what you're building, and we've been following this, like Clemente said, since November. And this is one of those models that I find very interesting because not many people are building in this infrastructure, like kind of like GameFi gambling space. And I think it's like the perfect product market fit, and what you could see kind of like take hold in Web3. Are there any other projects that are upcoming that you've been working on? Are you focusing on BR1 Infinite at this point? Are there any alpha behind the scenes you can share with us about future companies that are jumping in addition to Bonk?
I don't think I'm legally allowed to say anything about our existing partners, but when it comes to Web3 as a whole, or at least I can't say anything about our major deals. But when it comes to partnerships, I do want to shout out my boy Ben from Cambria. We also advise and invested in Cambria, and I think we started playing before they even. I think we started talking before even they dropped Duel Arena. I absolutely love everything Cambria is doing with the risk to earn genre, which is exactly the space we live. Risk to earn. This is a real money game. Many people aren't realizing, and I think they're onto something monumental. I love MMORPGs. And the only other game that I put, I'm embarrassed to say, maybe hundreds of hours is Cambria.
That's awesome. Were you playing that on Blast, on Abstract? Where have you been playing Cambria?
I played on Blast and I played on Abstract. I have about 5 Excaliburs. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with Cambria, Cambria had a dual arena product where, keeping it simple, you could duel other players in a RuneScape-esque style of duel. And there was a 5% chance you hit a jackpot, which could be anywhere between like 0.6 and 5 Ethereum. Math the shit out of that when they first dropped Duel Arena. And that's how I got in contact with the team, is I wanted to advise on some economics related items and some UI and experience related items. Collected myself 5 Excaliburs, got some good rankings in season 1 and season 2, and collected my fair share, of Abstract as well during season 2.
I love that you're degenning and playing these games right along beside us. Before we wrap, any more questions you guys have? Easy, Clemente. Anything you want to ask Evan before we wrap on this show? No, we're all good. Evan, where can people follow you? Where do you want to send people? Where should people be going, and what action should they be taking to get involved in the Ready ecosystem?
Look, I want to first say gaming isn't just for gamers. I'm 31 years old, and I grew up like hunchback playing video games. But as I got older, I started to realize I watch more than I play. And when it comes to gaming, you have a couple of profiles. You have the gamer, the guy who plays, the audience member, which I'm much more now, the content creator, which all of us on this call, are very much, and the game investor. And if you drive incentives and rewards between the athlete, the audience member, the content creator, and the game investor, you will build an incredible gaming ecosystem. As a whole, that's what we're doing at Bravo Ready Games. And if you like what we're doing, you're interested in learning more, hit us with a follow on X at Bravo Ready Games. In addition, you want to follow any of our individual products, follow our flagship game at BR1 Infinite, also Bonk Arena Game. And you can find everything directly in my personal bio or the Bravo Ready Games bio. My real name's Evan Ryer. I go by Ryan Ever on X. Grateful for any of your guys' support. And similarly, if you guys have any questions about our products or you want to cook together, my DMs are always open. I answer every message. Takes me about a week sometimes. I apologize, but I do. I answer every single message. Would love to hear from you.
Thanks again for hopping on, Evan/Ryan. It's been fun to talk. It's been a lot of fun. People in the YouTube enjoying themselves as well, seeing some comments in space as well. Thanks again for jumping on. Really appreciate it. Check out Bravo Ready at Bravo Ready Games. Follow Bonk Arena at Bonk Arena Game. Follow Evan on Twitter as well. Thanks again, Evan. That's going to do it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks again for joining us. It's been a wonderful Thursday. Had some fun with a special guest today. We don't do that very often, but it's fire when we do. You can catch us on all major podcasting platforms. Catch us on Spotify, Apple for podcast playback. You can watch us on YouTube, see what we're talking about in real time.